on the screen is one of the best to ever do it. And just in case you're not looking there, you can look down at your screen. We have MC Lyte. How you doing?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, you know what? This is actually a big moment for me.
Okay.
I started doing radio back in 1989.
Okay.
The first celebrity interview that I ever did on my radio show was in 1990, and it was you. It was you.
1990.
Cha Cha Cha, the album with Cha Cha Cha, Cappuccino, Stop, Look, and Listen. What was that? Eyes on This. And it was you. You know what? As a matter of fact, I came prepared for the interview.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this picture.
Oh my God! Yeah, I can see that.
And this guy right here is my big brother, El Bravador.
Oh yes, Al Bravador.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm thanking you now for being the first person to stop by and basically get my interviewing chops to where it is now. You're the first.
Okay. Well, good. I'm happy to have been the first, and even more excited that you're still around.
Boy, let me tell you, I last longer than old people furniture.
Oh goodness.
Let's talk about February the 16th, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna have MC Lyte in the city at Ember Hall. It's gonna be a good time. Reflection of Light. Tell us about that, because it's not like it's not like a concert. This is like a movement that you have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Reflections of Light just comes from being in this business over 35 years, one. And the music that is going to be presented on this night reflects different times, different eras, different places where mentally and emotionally and where I was in the 80s, very different from the 90s, very different from the 2000s, and so on and so forth. So it gives me a chance. Oftentimes when I head into these cities to perform, I'm on a big bill with a whole lot of people. I get about, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depending on, the show.
Right.
But this will afford me the time to be able to really spend with the audience and go through the songs that sometimes I don't get to perform.
Okay.
And sometimes I do, but I only get to do a little bit of it. I get to really have fun while I'm on the stage for this one of one tour.
And what I found really dope that you're implementing on this tour is you actually reached out and said, hey, you got somebody that's really dope in your area with a message to share that's different from the status quo messages. I'd love to have them on the show.
Yeah.
And you put the word out and people were like,
yeah, me.
Yeah. What made you decide to do that? Because you easily could have just brought a supporting act, or you could have just said, hey, anybody who wants to perform that'll bring in a crowd. What
Right.
made you decide to word it that way and have that expectation?
Right. Well, first off, these venues are smaller in any case. I think Ember might be on the larger side compared to what it is that we're doing on the full tour. But I was talking with the record label, and we were just like, what can we do to make this exciting? And one of the ladies, Stephanie, who works for My Block Records, she said, what about a cypher? And I was like, yeah, what about a lift up cypher? And then we just kind of started, going through what it would be like, what we could do, what we could expect and demand from those who are going to participate, and have it be, I guess, to some challenging, because as an MC, if you're not on the straight and narrow for yourself, you can wind up talking about a whole lot of things that either the beat tells you to talk about, or the times and what's playing now, that can be a heavy influence. And so we wanted to just shake it up a little bit and have people come through with something that's going to lift other people up. We're in a different orbit, it feels like right now, 2025. And so I think it takes everything for us to lift one another up. We should look to do that every chance we get.
So wait a minute, does this mean you're not gonna do Shut the F Up?
Yes, that means that. I haven't performed that song since 1993.
Now here's the funny part. Now there's gonna be a ton of people that are gonna be like, wait a minute, what is that? Yeah.
Right. Now I gotta go back and check it out. Yeah, that was 93. That was in the midst of Roughneck.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of songs that had a lot of grunge to it. So it definitely reflected the time that it was in.
Right.
But no, I don't have plans of doing this.
Okay, all right. I had to ask. All right, so let's talk about One of One. For folks who don't know, that's the your most recent project that you released last year. And it just has that sound. Like it's a reintroduction of MC Lyte to people who hadn't heard from you in a couple of years, and it's actually a new introduction to people who thought MC Lyte was just a commentator or voice on award shows.
Totally.
So for people who haven't heard the project, how would you describe it?
I describe it as an ode to hip hop, which means, keeping in time with the classic sound and the base and foundation of what makes hip hop, and that is a booming kick, a booming snare, and some bass that can get you from here to there as you're embarking upon, each bar to bar. This album to me is inspiring. I look to, it was so funny because Afion, who is a, comedian,
Yeah.
he's also a dancer. He's a writer.
He's hip hop.
Yeah. He also writes scripts, but he also writes rhymes. And so he came into the studio and he collaborated on All Right, which is one of the songs. And then he collaborated on another song that didn't make this album, but it'll make the next album. But we kept saying we're going to get back in the studio. The holidays came around and he was like, "What's up?" And I said, "You know what? I think I'm going to have to go this alone because the record became very introspective. Okay. And so only I could tell it. And so although in some areas people will say, oh, maybe this sounds preachy, but to me, it's just me being the big sis that I've always been. It's me, spitting the gems, trying to leave you a little bit of breadcrumbs on this lane that we all have to travel, and hopefully you won't make the same mistakes that have already been made by others who have decided they're going to share it with you.
Right.
So do that because we've already done it,
Yeah.
and it didn't turn out good. So veer this way.
Right.
But in any case, I think the album, it's funky, it's hip hop, it's inspirational, it's nostalgic, and yet it's it's someone who cares about other people. So I try to give the best that I could on this album.
It sounds big. I think the word is opulent. Like
okay.
Aesthetically, when you listen to it, it's like, it's not just like boom, tap, boom. It's it's like boom.
Yeah, well, that's Warren Campbell. He is Grammy award-winning producer, composer, and he's also my pastor. And so we found a lot of common space, having both been really close to Heavy D. Okay. And so once Heavy passed, he and I, we kind of grew close, and we decided, let's do something different. Let's just get in the studio and see what happens. And we had been working for some time, and I think when we hit on Woman, we decided, okay, let's put the mash on. And then we still had some breaks. This was like over a 3-4 year period of time. Mm-hmm. And then last year we put Woman out in March, and we were like, you know what? We got to get through this. And that's when we said, let's finish this album and get
Right.
it out.
And last question, going back to what you were saying, as far as occasionally letting people know, hey, we've already taken this route. It's not the best route. You might want to go that way. Without naming names, have you had a lot of and when I say current, I mean it could be anybody from, since you were out in the late 80s, anybody from like the mid 90s up to today, that you're like their person, their go-to person to help them maneuver, through the industry? Because I know a lot of especially a lot of the female artists, they always shout you out. They always show respect to you. They show respect to Latifah. Do you get calls from the current artists to say, hey, just checking on you? By the way, has this ever happened to you? How did you deal with this? Do you have any of those conversations?
I can't really say I do. And I talk to a lot of them who are very busy today. But without them asking, I still, I'm just like,
you're like, hey, I seen that before.
Right. You moving. Let me tell you, make sure you on top of that and on top of that. And they go, okay. Like they appreciate me just voluntarily sharing, as opposed to them trying to kind of dig into their bag of I don't know. Because when you're young and you're in it and you're doing it at a high level, it can be embarrassing for some people to say they don't know, or
right.
How does that really go, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Egos are real. Egos are real. All right, well, I know it's early in your day. You have plenty to do. I've been told of that. And we're looking forward to February the 16th, Ember Hall, Reflections of Light. Tickets are available. Get them now. It's not a huge venue. So if you wait until the last minute and you walk up and they say, too bad, don't say you have not been warned. Again, Light, I look forward to, I get to host the show with my guy Lonnie B. So I'm going to be
that's awesome.
I want to redo this picture. I'm going to bring El Bravador with me, and I want to redo this picture.
Okay, we're not going to have K-Rock with us, though.
But you know what? We're going to have who we have.
Okay, that's good.
And that way it's a full circle moment for me, at least. And we look forward to the 16th to vibing out with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I don't want to leave the audience thinking that K-Rock is not still down. He is. This cluster of shows that we're doing, literally, it's like, I think it's 9 shows in 10 days. And so K-Rock is going to sit this one out and take care of his family, because we're moving through very quickly. And then he meets up with us in Atlanta on the 19th.
Okay. So I didn't want to get into the business. I was like, oh, okay.
No, he's still, listen, he's my guy. He's still the one. So, still the one. Look, what is that? Who is that? That's some country.
You're still having fun because you're still the one.
No, that's a different one.
What's still the one are you doing?
You're still the one I clung to.
Yeah, the slower one. Yes.
Shania, I think that's Shania Twain. I think.
You see, she's not just rap, y'all. She's
I'm just saying, big love to the area. I can't wait to see you all. Thank you so much for this time. And 16th, I'll see you then.
We appreciate your time.
You got it. Take care.